Damn, you turning red already, bro.
Right. Oh, yeah. It's a sunburn.
This is from playing golf. I'm fucking burnt.
Oh, how the hell did he run over a screwdriver?
Dude, I don't know. Like when he pulled in at the very beginning, like before, when we were just first getting out of our cars, I looked at his back right tire and I was like, dude, you need some air in your tire. He was like, yeah, I think a sensor was going off on my way over here. And like, I get out of my car and I just see this giant metal thing sticking out of his tire. I was like, I think I found your problem, dude. It was so flat.
How lack of awareness do you have to drive over a screwdriver?
Ned lack of awareness.
Oh, okay.
This is naturally.
I knew that was coming.
Natural lack of awareness. It is. He's been cultivating it for years, and this is.
You know what?
The culmination of his lack of awareness.
Let's get back to sports because that goes hand in hand with something I want to talk about.
Well, count us down so we could start the show.
Yeah. 3, 2, 1. Come on.
Welcome to the show.
Stop with the movements.
Got to do the movement. Just to piss you off.
Right.
Gotta do the movement.
Welcome back to ASOS. This is episode 12.
Sounds about right. But say it with more energy.
12.
I don't know.
No, I'm just, all right, now you know. So give it another shot.
No.
It's episode 12.
No, I'm not doing that. All right.
We
so
should
welcome
skip
back.
12 just because of the cops, you know what I'm saying? So, like, skip over episode 12.
No,
Then you'd have to skip 13 because it's unlucky.
Yeah.
I'm down with 13. I'm down with 13.
Fuck
13 rock. 13 can rock.
Well, be prepared for number 1, which is topic number 1. We're going to discuss a team that has no name, which should be the title of this
Team
podcast.
has no name.
The team has no name. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that report that we've been waiting for came out this week. And
After 18 delays. Jesus.
yeah. And it wasn't pretty. Wasn't pretty at all. I actually knew one of the main
Do you want to say what like background? Like what are we talking about as far as the
whole world should know, but it's about the Skins sexually abusing the women employees there.
I mean, we had kind of heard rumors about it
I didn't hear any rumors
a couple
about
of years
this.
ago. Yeah, I had heard before about the trips to like South America with like
Costa Rica trip.
with the
I just found out about that.
Oh, that started coming out years ago, and I guess it got swept under the rug at least temporarily.
The New York Times broke that one.
Yeah, but that was like I feel like that was at least a couple of years ago. I think it was.
Okay, let's explain that one. So from what I heard, the Skins had their cheerleaders go on a trip to Costa Rica for what? I don't know why.
A calendar shoot or something.
Okay. And then they had like a topless calendar shoot, and then they gave access to quote unquote VIPs to like their changing process.
So
Is
what?
that-
So like when you see like the Sports Illustrated swimsuit edition, where they nowadays like they usually have a few of the models will do body paint instead of actually wearing a bikini. So in order to do body paint, you have to be naked in order for them to apply the paint to your body. So what the allegations were that they flew the cheerleaders down to Costa Rica. This one particular time is what we're talking about. They took all their passports as soon as they landed.
Yep. Which is weird.
Kind of weird. And then they basically told them where to go and what to do at all given points in time. And what, unbeknownst to the cheerleaders, that there were special VIPs, either suite owners at FedEx Field or what have you, that were getting special access to see everything happening, whether it be them getting paint put on them or them changing bikinis and everything. Because when you go to the beach to go do a photo shoot, it's not like they have a bunch of bathrooms and everything to get everything done. Usually you got somebody maybe hold up a towel. There's going to be angles in which you're going to be able to see stuff. So it made a lot of the cheerleaders uncomfortable. Now, that was what was confirmed in the New York Times as far as that aspect of things. As far as the Redskins' response to it was pretty much nothing. But that couples with a whole lot of other rumors that have happened around the team over the last few years. Now, you get this article that just came out. Now, last week we did the podcast. The only thing that anybody was talking about when it came to the Washington football team was the name change and how excited everybody was that we were going to change the name or what have you. Now, Dan Snyder is still problematic by all means, and I've been wanting him to leave for a very long time. But what ended up happening after we did the podcast, I think it was on Monday morning, was the Redskins fired two guys from the front office, Alex Santos and Richard Mann. Those two guys, you always heard things from the media, especially another guy, Larry Michael, who's the voice of the Skins. Yeah. Unbeknownst to anybody, just retired out of nowhere after having one of the cushiest jobs in all of sports as far as
Monday morning too. He's just like, I'm retiring today.
So he leaves, and then there's this groundswell of everybody online like, all right, what's happening on Redskins Park? Now, everybody was still kind of focused on the name change, but there was this like, hold on, something's coming out. There's a news article coming out. You had all local sports media, all media across the country then started hyping this story up. Said it was going to get released on Tuesday. It doesn't get released on Tuesday. Said it's going to be released on Wednesday. It doesn't get released on Wednesday. What was happening behind the scenes apparently was that the football team, the organization was trying to hire law firms or everything out to figure this all out. The Washington Post was trying to make sure that they covered their ass so they didn't have any lawsuits or anything coming their way. Because as I've told you guys in this podcast time and time before, you can't find a more litigious guy than Dan Snyder. He sued grandmothers that didn't pay up as far as the season tickets. Yeah. He's tried to sue the Washington City paper for writing disparaging things about him. I think he's gone after Gawker at one point. He goes after anybody. It's the same guy who wants to prosecute fans to bring signs into the stadium talking about sell the team, Dan, or anything else. He's a little bitch when it comes to anybody saying anything about him. So Washington Post want to make sure they got the story right. Yeah. So the story comes out, and the story is there was 15 women over the course of the last decade, different stories about inappropriate texts they received, about just the culture within the office, how many things have been said about their bodies, inappropriate touching. There's also a case of there being a stairwell at Redskins Park that if you walk up, it's see-through underneath, and certain guys knew where it is. You could stand and look up to see up the girls' skirts.
And they were like leaning angles.
They were leaning angle, like they wouldn't hide it at all. There was a lot of that just came out, and it was like, now the article does say outright, Dan Snyder was never a part of any of the actual harassment. Dan might not have even been aware of some of the harassment, but when you say that, you've got to think like, as the owner of the team, if stuff doesn't go right, you need to be aware. It's on you. Which is why the big comparison between these two, as far as you having a sports organization that gets accused of any sort of sexual harassment by their underlings or people in the front office, would be the Dallas Mavericks. And
I can handle that part. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, take over.
The Mavs are my favorite team in basketball, right? And when everything came out, it was sometime last year, I believe. Yeah. Where it was talking about the culture and how they had certain people in the front office who were sexually assaulting people and like convicted of like weird shit, and then like watching porn on the computer. They found like a used condom like on the floor, like when you walk in to, and it's like,
that's gross.
Yeah. And when that all came out, Mark Cuban like stood in front, did interviews, talked about how I wasn't aware, but it's on me because I am at the top. Yeah. He made the adjustments. He hired someone who can change the culture, and he worked with them to make sure that shit happened.
And he hired more females in the front office. I think the CEO now is a woman.
Yeah.
And he apologized.
He took responsibility, and he apologized. Let us contrast that.
Yeah. Dan fucking Snyder. I want to say this, like, first off, he's a piece of shit, and fuck him.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I'm not surprised at the sexual assault stuff just because it seems to go on everywhere unchecked, and I'm glad it's getting exposed. Similarly, I am not surprised by Dan Snyder's response, where not once does he apologize, not individually or to the whole group. He basically doesn't take any ownership for the fact that it happened under his watch. And he basically did well, this happened, so I got a whole firm coming in to, shake things up here, and everything should be fine going forward. Have a nice day. It was.
And then he sends an email to everybody in the organization, the players and people in the front office, scouting, whatever, from him and his wife, because he knew he had to get a woman on there with him, talking about how things will change and it was unacceptable, this, that, and the other. Look, Dan Snyder's the owner of the team, and it's the same thing I've been saying forever. He is the owner. The buck stops with him. When I look at the losses that the team has had, when I look at the dysfunction that the organization has, it starts at the top. That being said, I don't think Dan Snyder was completely clued in as far as what was happening with the sexual harassment. I don't. But it doesn't absolve him of the responsibility that it is his organization and he should know. There was always the rumors about – what did I tell you guys when we were listing the top moments of our fandom or our sports? One of mine was getting rid of fucking Bruce Allen. Bruce Allen was probably the guy in that office who was seeing everything happen. I'd be surprised if he just had a grudge thing that he didn't just come out and start spewing out was one of the sources for one of these things either, because his name was not mentioned anywhere in the article, which was surprising to me, being that he was the guy that was all up and around what was actually going on. Mm-hmm. Now, Dan is a complete and utter asshole. He's a terrible owner, and he's a terrible person. And I'm done. I've always tried to figure out some sort of way in which I could root for the guy, that being he's a longtime Skins fan. He grew up with the team. Everybody, I play Madden franchise mode, you have those dreams like, man, if I was the owner of my team that I grew up and watched, like, you want to do this, that, and the other. So there's a part of you that from a story standpoint want to root for the man. Well, fuck that. Under no circumstances should there be a climate like this that exists anymore. I don't give a fuck about whether it's the Me Too movement or anything else. We talked also here on the podcast about that whole locker room talk bullshit that people say that all men do behind the scenes. It's just guys being guys. Like, it's horseshit. I don't sit down with my boys judging every woman that I work with. I don't sit down with my coworkers trying to figure out, oh, she's looking good today, this, that, and the other. It's inappropriate. You got to treat people like they're human beings, and that's what we're doing. We're looking at them like their bodies, and we're sexualizing people. That doesn't make any sense in that level, especially when it's that hard with the amount of machismo bullshit around sports. I can only imagine how hard it is for any of these women that can do a damn good job to be able to sit there and take it time and time again. There were only 15 that came forward as far as the article itself did. Only one was willing to come forward actually with her name. When the article dropped, I was on Twitter looking at all the other female reporters, the ones that are either still in it or that used to do it, and they all say, this is not surprising. We've all experienced this shit. And it's ridiculous to me that we're in 2020 and we're still in this situation where you have to either have some sort of personal connection to people to start caring, or that you need to be threatened with losing your job or getting canceled because of your actions. You should just know there are certain things to do and certain things not to do. And if you're still falling on that same trend, you're a fucking asshole. Now, the other thing is that as a Washington football team fan, I'm trying not to say the name, it's hard. There are so many other stories that have been floating around about what happened at Redskins Park. I'm going to go into some of them. I will say from a legal standpoint, these are all allegations. These are all rumors, nothing confirmed. But you have this culture that exists. As soon as the article got released, there were a lot of people that were like, oh, man, I got a good idea what's about to happen. I got a good idea what's going to go down. And as soon as the article got released, they were like, whoa, that's bad, but that's only half the story. That's not even going anywhere near where it is that we've seen shit go. You saw DJ Swearinger, former safety for the team. He starts releasing his text history when it came to Jay Gruden. And you see what Jay Gruden was doing as far as being upset that DJ was going to the press and saying this, that, and the other about the team. And he basically threatens the man to fight. There's the other story that came out about Jay Gruden, that Jay Gruden's a huge cokehead and he was sleeping with every woman that he possibly could in that front office. It had nothing to do with his wife. There's a story about Capri Bibbs, who was a running back for us. When Capri Bibbs was apparently messing with the receptionist at the front office, the same guy that Jay Gruden was cheating on his wife with, when Jay Gruden found out it was Capri Bibbs, he benched him. Guess what happened when he benched Capri Bibbs? Capri Bibbs was supposed to be on the team and on that play when Alex Smith got wrecked. He was supposed to be the running back actually blocking, but no, we had somebody else in there that couldn't do the block job. All because Jay Gruden himself was so upset and so pissed off that he was sleeping around with other people, and he got a little jealous that another player was getting some of the action. You see the pictures of Jay Gruden at the bars getting all shitty, twisted, or what have you. None of the Redskins didn't say anything about that shit, right? No. Because they understood and they knew what was happening, what was going on. They knew. There's so many other stories to come out. The Redskins cheerleading scandal is only the beginning. There's so many other stories I've heard as far as the cheerleaders. The stories that I've heard without trying to get anybody hammed up. The firsthand stories that I've heard about stuff that's been happening where you have cheerleaders show up to hotel rooms where you know that there are certain people in those hotel rooms. What goes on behind the scenes, we're not entirely % sure. But I know for a fact that there was a Redskins employee, at least if you believe his story, that used to get told that he was not allowed to enter the hotel room. He was only there to stand at the door and make sure nobody came in or out. Lord knows what was happening inside those hotel rooms. You talk to other people that I've talked to that have worked at Redskins Park that talk about just that atmosphere that was there. Even though Dan might not have been involved in any sexual harassment, Dan still created this culture of this just anger and this just what it was harassment in the sense of doing your job. People can't even get their job done without being yelled at and being berated about this, that, and the other. It's this hostile ass work environment. When players leave the team, which happens in droves every year, the first thing they do is shit all over the franchise. You don't see that with any other team, maybe in all of sports. You don't see a team where you have people that leave it have this level of vitriol for the organization. And it's not just because of the product on the field, which has been dog shit. It's about the things that they have to go through behind the scenes with this squad, with this organization. Where you have Dan, whether or not he's involved or not involved, sometimes he should get involved. Sometimes he should be stepping out. I know as a fan, we've all wanted Dan to stay hands off, stay hands off. But if you got shit like this going down in your organization, you need to clean house and do it yourself.
Yeah,
he's done such a shitty job of that.
He's allowing the culture to continue by not doing anything, and that makes him as culpable as anybody else in that organization. And I think that's what the real issue is here. I mean, don't get me wrong, everything that happened, everything that I read in that article is disgusting. But I think the most disgusting part is that the person who allowed this to happen under his watch, whether he knew about it or not, he should have known if he was that hands-on with the team, which he's been trying to do for the last 15 to 20 years or however long he's on the team. He should have known, or at least gotten wind, or somebody had to have told him. And what I guarantee he did was fucking shrug it off and walk away and go back to trying to play general manager. It's just, I mean,
that's my thing is like, don't cherry pick your involvement. Like you can't sit there on the sidelines and then, I'm talking about Dan. You don't sit there on the sidelines and then all of a sudden decide, well, we're going to trade all of our draft picks to get RG3 when the head coach doesn't want it. I'm going to sit on the sidelines when it comes to people sexually harassing employees in my company, but then Dwayne Haskins went to the school that my son went to, so I'm going to get involved here.
Yeah.
He cherry picks what he wants to get involved with compared to what he doesn't because he's okay with that good old boys club that they got running their Redskins Park. Now, I'll put first off, the dudes that got fired, Alex Santos, Richard Mann, fuck you. Larry Michael, the one that resigned, fuck you. Those dudes have been complete and utter monsters to these women. I can only imagine what it's got to feel like for them, knowing that they had a dream of being there as a part of an organization, a tradition, all that stuff. The same stuff you got all these fans that don't want to change the name because we think about the legacy and the pride and the history and how it is the team makes us feel. And you got people that have suffered on the hands of this organization.
There's no pride there anymore.
There's none.
Yeah. So I knew Rhiannon Walker since she was a kid, right? Because she's from Fort Washington, where I'm from. Mm-hmm. And I used to go to Potomac Landing Elementary School, like the rec center, every day to play football and basketball. And she'd be there all the time. Then fast forward, I'm at University of Maryland, and I may have just graduated over my senior year. Now she's going to University of Maryland. So then we're hooping again. And then I'm sitting up here joking with you like, yeah, I can't wait to see what the fuck's about to happen about the Skins. And then I'm reading the article, and I'm like, wait, Rhiannon, like you. And when I saw the dude's name and I saw his picture, I was like, I wish I saw him.
Yeah, man, it's
terrible. But there's always
and she's like the most genuine and it doesn't even matter like what type of person, like that should not happen.
Yeah.
Ever,
and the fact,
anywhere.
And the fact that, and the fact that they haven't.
She wasn't even at it wasn't even at like the example that I saw was like they were at like some bar.
No, but it's all within the guise of work. You're a reporter.
It should never happen to anybody.
There should be a professional relationship that exists, and those lines continue to get blurred all the time. Now, it's a wonder that we're not hearing it from a player standpoint, because I know that shit happens. But when you got the front office, the white-collar guys that aren't doing anything except pushing papers, being responsible for treating that sort of culture in that, it's ridiculous to me. It's absolutely ridiculous to me.
I find it very surprising that I know 3 people were fired and or resigned, but the fact that more of that house has not been cleaned out is very surprising to me. And I would be shocked if more people there's not more fallout from this, because, I mean, I don't know how Dan doesn't sell the team right now. I mean, I can see in his mind with his gigantic ego why he wouldn't sell the team. Like, this wasn't me. Not my fault. But I think, like Mark Cuban said it best, like, this ain't it. You got to take responsibility. And I don't know if he will, but at least clean house. Like, there has to be an internal investigation. Everybody that was involved, whether it's, your best friend in the organization, doesn't matter. He's got to go. So
I am at a particular point right now where I still think we have one of the best guys ever as far as our head coach, especially for the situation at hand, Ron Rivera. I don't know how much Ron has to do with what's happening as far as declaring a house. I know his daughter works there in the park.
Yeah,
now.
He tweeted that. Yeah.
And so it's like he's not.
I want to add something on that.
No.
I saw his response, and like it was all great and everything. Like, he didn't have to put like my daughter works here, so I wouldn't let this happen. It's like you shouldn't let it happen even if your daughter didn't work there.
I get it. I get what you're saying. It's nitpicky.
He's saying I wouldn't want my daughter to be in that sort of environment.
Which is where I go. Which is when I said that it shouldn't have to take you having a personal connection for anything to actually matter.
Yeah, I agree.
Ron was sort of problematic after the Jerry Richardson stuff. Even though he did a great job as far as getting the team done, he still had one too many good things to say about Jerry Richardson after that entire situation after Carolina. But I understand maybe he had a personal connection to him and whatnot. I ain't going to criticize it too much. But if you have an opportunity, which is what we've done, we've cleared house. I'm 31 years old. I was born in 1989. The last Redskins Super Bowl victory was 91, 92, depending on how you want to look at the calendar, right? I don't have that many good fucking memories about this team. Or if they are, they're memories that don't fucking matter. They're memories that didn't lead to any playoff wins. They didn't lead to any Super Bowl wins. They didn't lead to any real Hall of Famers or anything that was going on, as much as taking the shit that I had and to try to make the best out of it, right? It's not the memories that I get looking at the Caps. It's not the memories I get when looking at the Nationals. The Redskins, for me, most of it, I look over the course of my life, it's been more pain than anything else. Now, I understand if you're older than me and maybe you did see things in the heyday, but you got to realize after this new ownership, or not new ownership now, but after Dan's takeover in 99, 98, whatever, it has not been sunshine and roses here. So I don't know what anybody's trying to hold on to. I want a clean fucking break. I don't want anything to do with what it is that we were doing way back when. I want Dan gone. I don't want him to be a part of the name change. I think this is an opportunity for us to actually have a clean slate with guys that are willing to put in the work and to actually do things the right way. Does it scare me that Jeff Bezos is looking to be the owner of the team? Absolutely. But I will take Jeff Bezos. I'll take a whole lot of motherfuckers over this particular guy right here, Dan Snyder, who's been a sniveling, coward, egotistical maniac, and a fucking piece of shit all the way around. I don't care for the people right now that are trying to defend him. They're the same ones that are saying we should hold on to the name. You guys need to get left way the fuck back, and let us carry this organization into what the future needs to be. Because I'm at a point right now, we're looking at it, I don't think I can do it anymore. I think I'm over it. I think I'm pretty much watching football for the sake of fantasy. But that's pretty much. I'm done. Now it helps as far as that Redskins name not being there anymore. But as long as Dan Snyder owns that team, as long as Dan Snyder's reaping the profits and the rewards from having this team, I don't know if I can support it anymore. I think I'm done.
I think the last time I enjoyed watching a Redskins game was when Brad Johnson was our quarterback.
Look, I got lots of, like I said, it's shining shit into gold, right?
Yeah.
Like I can look at the 07 run,
RG3?
No, 07. The 07 run where we had to win 5 in a row or we don't go to the playoffs. We don't go. Sean Taylor died right before we did that.
Yeah, I was there at the game where we won by 21 to get into the playoffs.
Right, so it's Cowboys. Like it's almost shuffling pain inside my head to try to search for a good memory. Yeah. I look at like the Clinton Portis, the first Clinton Portis run. I was telling my dad about it. I was telling my cousin's boyfriend about it yesterday. Clinton Portis' first run, 64 yards to the house against Tampa Bay. Thought that everything was going to be different. We went to the playoffs twice. We didn't win shit. And Clinton Portis is not going to the Hall of Fame, right? I look at all these things in which I'm like, all right, there are certain moments that I'm like, oh, man, that was cool. I remember how that made me feel. But majority of my feelings have been pain. When I first got started working for an insurance company down in Virginia a few years ago, in 2015, I remember I found out that I was going to have to work on Sundays. And there was a part of me that was a little almost like, oh, shit. Like, I've quit jobs because they wanted me to work when the Skins were playing. Mm-hmm. And I was like, this job is too good to pass up, so I'm going to have to deal with it. So on my lunch break on Sundays, I'd run downstairs to the cafeteria and try to see if the game was on. So I'd watch a little bit of the game. And I started to notice my heart rate started going a little higher. I could feel my blood pressure start feeling a little angry. I see Kirk Cousins throwing an interception, piss me off. Then I run outside the smoke deck, smoke a cigarette, start feeling a little bit better. And I walk back inside. I look at the team. Heart rate starts going up again. And I just went back to work. Then I realized the following Sunday, I ain't going to watch any of the game. And I felt better. And I started realizing my life feels almost better without dealing with this fucking team, without having to defend them, without having to realize when every Cowboy and Eagles fan wants to say how much my team sucks, and I got to bite my tongue on how I actually feel and just defend them for the sake of defending them, when I know it's been a piece of shit organization for a very long time. There's no defending the Washington team. There's none.
No. You know me. I watch 162 baseball games a year or more. I don't miss a single of the 82 Caps games. I haven't watched a Redskins game really in like 3 years. Like when I was out in LA, like I buy the MLB Network to watch my Mets no matter where I'm at. Not 1 year did I get the NFL package to watch the Skins. It's not fun. It's not fun to watch. Like there are fun games. Like Thanksgiving every year is fun if we get in, but it's a sad
the Bills now.
It's a sad organization. Let's go Bills.
It's a sad it's an extremely sad organization. I don't see anything really changing unless Dan Snyder fucking leaves. Whether or not the NFL has to bring the hand. Now he hired some K Street law firm, the same one that she's done some high profile deal. But the law firm's investigating everything that happened as far as the allegations in the Washington Post. And what they want to do is they want to implement new HR training and rework the way the organization itself.
Didn't they have like one person?
She's the lead of it, but she's got a team.
Oh yeah, there is.
So
no, I'm talking about that. Like, didn't y'all only have one person in HR?
Oh yeah, we didn't have. There's basically no HR team because they knew that if they didn't have an HR team, they'd investigate stuff.
That is stupid. That starts with Dan too.
No, this all starts with Dan.
No, I know, but I'm saying you should know.
No, I get it. But what I'm saying is that the investigation is going to happen, and I've already heard from the NFL statement on it. They're waiting to hear the results of the investigation. So it looks like the NFL will at least have some sort of. Like, Dan could just lock this investigation up, the results of it, and nobody could see it. And just lawyer confidentiality, all that shit, where nobody really has access to what happens after the investigation. But if the NFL is able to press the issue there on it, and you got the other 31 owners in the NFL that are not trying to deal with any of this shit, they've got enough on their plate just trying to deal with COVID. They got enough on their plate trying to deal with the name change. They got enough on their plate trying to deal with the Black Lives Matter deal and how it is they're going to implement all that stuff. The last thing they want is the last thing they need is an owner doubling down or trying to hide or cover up anything that's happening. They're not going to stand for it. It'll be a blackout that the NFL itself cannot overlook. And what I also say is that if you're one of these fans out here, the same thing that I used to do, which is try to justify the bullshit. If you're one of those fans that are out there saying, oh, or you're Darren Ravel, who's like, oh, you know, this story wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. I mean, it's bad, but it's not that bad. If you're one of those people, check yourselves. Really. Some of you guys are a lost cause, so go fuck yourself. Go jump off the goddamn bridge.
Yeah,
the other ones of you, because I used to be one of you,
there's no
to try to
arguing with them.
downplay it over the bullshit. Just realize you're being a fucking hypocrite. You're full of shit, and you need to know where you really should stand. Stop holding on to nostalgia over memories that don't really mean shit. Most of us were not alive, or at least most of us were not really getting involved when it came to the Skins when we were winning shit. All we've seen is losing. There's nothing to hold on to.
You got to be like in your mid-50s, and then by that time, we're not getting through to you anyway. So.
And those mid-50s, once half of those guys are either black and they're like, fuck them, they ain't got Colin Kaepernick on the team, a la my father, or you got the other half, which are big Trump guys, and they're pissed off the Black Lives Matters meeting, something that the guy, Colin Kaepernick.
They're just pissed off that Black Lives Matter right now. It's fucking getting to them.
Pretty much. So, fuck
All right.
off.
So to close, I want to say that to all the women that spoke out, I appreciate you. Thank you. And we're rooting for you, and we're here for you. We support you.
We are your allies, and you should not have to go through what it is you're going through. We need to change the culture, and it starts with us. The same way that's how when it comes to the racism thing starts with white people. I will say when it comes to all the bullshit that women have to go through, it starts with us looking in the mirror, and it starts with us checking people out. Check your gut. Check your dude. When you got some dude trying to talk all that sexist bullshit because it's locker room talk, check his ass. Check him. It's not okay to talk about who you're slaying in the office, this, that, and the other. It ain't okay. None of that's okay. The moment you shut up and you be silent and you laugh it off is the moment you're complicit. Stop the bullshit.
Agreed. So moving on from that to the other quote unquote thing I'm waiting for a plan for is the NFL's plan for COVID.
They don't have it.
JJ Watt just put out a tweet like detailing everything that he's seen so far. Yep. And made note that rookies are supposed to report when, like today.
Yeah. This week.
Or yesterday.
I think it's this week, some point this week.
Well, when did he make that tweet?
He made the tweet. I'm pulling up right now.
Because
he made the tweet on the 16th. So
okay, so yesterday. They were supposed to report yesterday. Because he said rookies are supposed to report in 48 hours.
Keep in mind, our rookies are scheduled to report in 48 hours. No, you're right.
Yeah, so there's no plan. I don't think there's going to be football.
They have face masks.
No. And then they put in like little holes in it. I don't think football's going to happen. And looking at that gives the Skins more time to get their shit together. But
I mean, what I had expected to happen was for the NFL to kind of sit back and wait to see what happened with MLB and the NHL and the NBA. But
how long can they wait?
They are running out of time.
It's supposed to start now.
Yeah, I don't see. I haven't seen a plan come out. Like, you know how the NBA was like, here's how we're going to try and do it. Bubble, the testing, the fucking Space Jam rings.
Bunch of holes in that shit.
None
There's a bunch of holes in the NBA stuff that you're seeing now. I mean,
but there's so much more contact in football. Like, they don't have anything.
I'm banging my drum that I have been nonstop about how stupid it is to fucking play sports in COVID when the pandemic is reaching heights in which it never has.
I really wish that you weren't the person to edit this video because that would have been funny.
Yeah, just put an actual drum there.
Yeah,
I could. I'm gonna see if I can Photoshop a drum.
All right, but football's not happening.
In London, they're already like next season we can have fans back because, well, I think we figured out how to do this and do it right. And here we're like, hey, NASCAR, let's have 40,000 people here.
Oh yeah, they already started letting people in the NASCAR races. So like, it's look,
come on.
I still believe the NFL is looking to see what happens with basketball and what happens with baseball. What you guys are talking about as far as the timeline and what it needs to be that they stop or start, there isn't one. There's not a too late moment for it. Because you're going to go through with it until you can't because they want to get paid. They need the money and everything to flow.
They're talking about having one preseason game.
I'm saying that up until the point where they could literally kick the ball off And then the word can come down from Goodell saying, shut operations down. There's not an end mark. There's whatever they have to do to continue up until a point in which they're going to make the money. The moment there's going to have to be some sort of big moment that happens that gets people to get off this trajectory. Whether it be in the NBA, you have an entire team come down with COVID. Whether or not you have an MLB, an entire team comes down with COVID.
That's going to happen.
Probably. I'm still of the mindset that is going to happen.
Like,
I still
if
don't
somebody
think
dies, then what?
Then we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. But that's what you're going at, is that all these teams are just going. Disney World opened back up, for Christ's sakes.
Yeah,
Disney World is opened up.
Do you see they
For
opened
what?
one in Hong Kong and then shut that bitch down again?
I was driving in the car. I was taking a girlfriend to work in the morning, and there was a commercial that came on the radio about Six Flags America opening up and how they're going to do things safely. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about?
There's no way you can do it safely.
There's no way to do it safely. But
There's no vaccine.
Have you guys gone ever into the water park at Six Flags?
Yeah,
that thing
twice a week
is disgusting.
for how many summers?
But I never got
cesspool.
sick there. Fake news.
Fuck you. But there's also a matter of, right before we started this podcast, at least a few minutes earlier, the president was on Fox News doing an interview with Chris Wallace. I have not get to listen to the entire interview, but I did listen to some portions of it. This motherfucker is so in denial over what's happening right now when it came to the COVID situation. He is still of the understanding that the only reason we have so many cases is just because we're testing, which is the same thing I tell when I tell people about my finances. I'm like, you know what? I had less bills this month because I didn't open the mail. It's horseshit. All right, the fact that the virus itself is spreading all over like wildfire, and I took my last test. I took 11 days ago. I haven't got my results. 11 days. I still haven't got my results.
That's because they went to Trump's secret lair.
We're on our own is what I need people to understand and to realize. We're on our own. And the only way that we're going to hold the powers that be, whether it be the president, whether it be Congress, whether it be your boss at work, whether it be the management or the corporate or the CEOs, the boards of all these people, they're not putting themselves at risk. They're telling you to.
Yeah, I mean, they lost money up to where they decided they could no longer lose more money. And then they just turn the faucet back on.
But like I said, that insidious guilt bullshit that gets into you, that you want to do things. You can see it all around. Everybody wants to go back to doing something a little bit normal. They're trying to look at it and say, all right, well, I guess I can do this and it's a little safer because it's outside, or I can do this and that. When we should still be shutting everything the fuck down. Yep. I don't blame anybody for wanting to get back to normal. I don't blame a basketball player where their life's work is to play the sport and being told, hey, you can do this again, not wanting to do it, especially after getting locked up in your house for how many months. I get it, but don't fall for the bullshit. Stop falling for it.
It's too many people already down that road.
It's bigger than you individually. You have to think about everybody else. Whether or not you want to risk it yourself, fine. But you know what you also do if you're risking yourself? Stay the fuck away from everybody else.
Yeah, but
if you're going to do something risky, isolate yourself.
Too many people out there not doing that. So
that's what I'm saying. We're already gone. The car is headed towards that cliff.
I think the car,
there's no guardrail.
The car is off the cliff, I think, at this point.
Yeah.
We're fucked.
Yeah. So not only talking about
and we can't even escape the country because we're not allowed.
Right,
passports don't work. You know what does work? My Jamaican dual citizenship.
So even including the NFL and how I don't think that's going to happen.
I'll take a vote with you.
I'm not sure about the NBA season either. Call back to I think last week. I don't know if we talked about the tweet from the IG model.
Yeah, it's just I've already been invited.
I've been invited to the bubble. The season canceled early.
Yeah.
What was it? Wasn't there a player that left the bubble to go get food? Now he's in quarantine again.
I think he was from the Kings or the Jazz. One of those two.
Ordered Texas Roadhouse and just put the entire league at risk.
Yeah, but you know what?
I'm sorry. It might not have been Texas Roadhouse. I love that place.
I love.
The anonymous hotline.
And I wouldn't have really cared about it, but the fact that Rudy Gobert was one of the first ones to talk about it, and say he thinks it's petty, and it's like about respecting people, I wanted to slap him.
Yeah,
Like,
Rudy, you don't get
like,
that right now, bud.
you can't say that to anybody at
No.
this point in time.
And
Like,
here's the
you may have
thing.
learned your lesson, but no, you don't say it.
If the hotline is being used, that means that the players are already not respecting the bubble. So, like, I get it that, that's kind of like, snitches get stitches, don't narc on your neighbor kind of thing. But if you want the season to happen, if I'm a player and I'm like, man, this could really work if we all do this well. We all, follow the rules and stay inside. We actually might get to play the sport that we love and pays us a fuck ton of money. And I see dumbass fucking six string over here wanting to go out and get a little bit of, I don't know, chicken wings or
food
or a lady or whatever he's doing. And that's going to put my job and my life in jeopardy. Where's my
the family
phone? I'll pick up 6 phones. I don't give a shit. I'm calling that hotline. Suck my ass.
The stupidity and the hypocrisy that you see across the country. I think that the NBA Anonymous hotline is a good microcosm of what's happening at large. Okay?
Yeah.
There's a certain element of people not understanding what snitching is, number one, and there's an understanding of where your freedom starts and ends compared to where it is that you're infringing on other people. If I'm driving down the highway and I see a guy who's not staying in his lane, swerving in and out, maybe goes on the wrong side of the road, I look and I see that he can barely stand up or sit down in the fucking in the car. He's not paying attention at all, and he's driving like he's drunk. What am I gonna do? I'm gonna call 911. Why? Because the motherfucker's putting other people at risk. Now, you got a lot of people that are out here saying, I'm not going to wear a mask because it's infringing on my rights. You can't stop me from, get food because it's infringing on my rights. Well, you're understanding that your rights end when you're impacting negatively other people. It stops there. It's not just words.
Isn't it the same as when you go into a restaurant and it says no shirt, no shoes, no service?
Yeah.
No, that's even different. Here's the thing. That's even more in the sense of people not understanding that in a private company, they can create rules. And rules that you don't necessarily have to agree with. And if you don't, guess what you don't have to do? Frequent that establishment. That's just what it is. If you have people that say no shirt, no sirs, no service, okay, I can't go in there unless I have those things on. That's the rules of that company. But
I'm saying the people that are so upset about having to wear a mask, they will put on a shirt and shoes to go to that place.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. Those are the same people that would have no problem with a restaurant saying that I can't wear a hoodie or I can't wear a certain T-shirt because it makes me look too urban and I look like a gangster. So they don't want that looking in a freaking establishment. Well, you see all those fucking clubs that got all those rules saying no urban wear when they just want to infringe on their bullshit.
What is urban wear?
It's what if you have black skin, you can't come in this establishment. Is basically what they're saying.
Why don't they just say that?
Because it's what they gotta act calm and cool and collected about it. You motherfuckers don't understand that.
I saw a sign like that when I was in was it Memphis? Somewhere like that.
That sounds like a place. Like there is this. If you're not wearing a mask, you're putting other people at risk. If you're telling me you can't breathe because you can't wear a mask, I'm gonna call you a fucking liar. I'm gonna say you're full of shit. And if you
have a mask for you, if you have that, it pumps air into your fucking mask.
Or stay the fuck home because now you're negatively impacting other people.
Yeah.
Just look outside of yourself. Why do you stop at a stop sign? Why do you stop at a traffic light? Why do you think you need to enforce the speed limits? Why is any of that?
When you don't?
They're the same people that are complaining about the same people that complain about the NBA Anonymous line are the same people that are complaining about masks, and the same people that say that the country needs more law and order because people are spray painting statues.
Well, the players who are doing it are the same players who have millions of dollars yet still get DUIs because they need to drive their shit home.
And they touch everything.
Oh, yeah. And then see y'all later.
Fucking Rudy Gobert.
That shit was stupid.
But the NBA Anonymous line makes sense. You don't want to snitch. There's snitching. If you're not doing something wrong and someone else is doing something wrong, especially something wrong that'll impact you, you're supposed to tell the authorities.
Yeah,
That's the way it works. Now, I would like to be in a situation or a scenario in this country where if I call the authorities, they won't kill me, but that's what you're supposed to do. If you are also doing dirt, that's when you don't turn on your fellow neighbor that you're doing dirt on. That's the difference when it comes to snitching, and people need to fucking understand that shit. It ain't what Cameron said on Fox News 15 years ago, which we saw a pedophile next door, he wouldn't call the cops. Cameron, you're a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
There are people that are just stupid when it comes to this thing. If you are going to be negatively affected, or other people are going to be negatively affected by something that you're not doing, but something somebody else is doing, you need to tell them their asses, or you need to stop them.
You know what Cameron would do though if he saw a young lady at his neighbor's house, he'd be like, "Hey, ma."
Yeah.
Fuck you. Fuck you. Fam.
Look, listen. Switching. Talking about snitching, right?
Switching and snitching. Okay.
Switching and snitching. Going from
Tekashi's new hit.
The NBA Anonymous Hotline. We're gonna go
featuring
over
Tory
to
Lanez.
Hey, look, no.
Didn't he just pull a gun on?
He shot
Meg Thee Stallion
Oh, he shot her
in the foot.
Shot her
Yeah.
in the foot.
We don't know.
Do you see the video of them walking back?
Allegedly, that's what he did. I don't know what.
I heard she pulled a knife on him, so he pulled out a gun.
I don't know.
There was a joke tweet happening about that. But they have the video of Megan like limping back from the car with the blood dripping all over.
Do you have to, if she's Megan Thee Stallion, do you have to put her down now?
Ooh, that's funny.
Glue Factory, Glue Factory, baby.
I'm not laughing at that one.
I know how I feel about glue factories and horses, but I'm not touching that.
Yeah. So yeah. No.
That's a good line.
No, it wasn't. That was an L.
No, I'm not agreeing. I'm saying objectively
that was
a solid
L.
joke.
Nah.
I'm saying objectively that's a solid joke. I'm not laughing at the joke.
I'm not laughing either.
You are laughing at the joke. Let's clear that up.
Just send her to Santa Anita. Be done with her. All right.
Fuck's sake. All right. We were going
protect our black queens.
Yeah. We're going from snitching on the NBA Anonymous Hotline to the guy that snitched on Man City.
Oh, yeah. He is still. Oh.
Yeah. And Man City just got off.
Yeah.
Man City's a soccer thing, right?
Yeah. So basically.
Hey, babe, do you want to talk about soccer?
This guy who's a hacker.
Hey, come on. Is she there?
No, she's here. She's saying she doesn't want to.
This guy.
What does she think about Man City?
Hacked into,
I don't know if she knows anything about Man City.
Anyway, he hacked into.
She's shaking her head. She doesn't know anything about
Man City's.
Come listen.
Servers, and basically found out all this information that they were hiding money, and not accurately reporting. And so he took that information and went to the authorities, and they arrested him for hacking into Man City's records.
Right,
so
and then they banned Man City for 2 years, and then Man City appealed, and they just got off.
Yeah, and they
got paid. They got paid a fine. And
yeah, what was it? $3 million or 30?
3 or 2, 2 or 3. But
anyways,
Mourinho said a great quote. He said, "Well, if they still have to pay a fine, that means they did something wrong. So why are they changing? Like, why are they getting less of a sentence?"
Yeah, why are they changing the rules when they're still found to have made a mistake?
Right, they did something wrong.
Hold on, did they do something wrong? Was it an individual in the organization was doing something wrong?
No,
the club
did something wrong. A separate guy in a different country, in Portugal, I think, he hacked into their system and found out that they were covering up how much money they were spending, because you're only allowed to spend as much as you bring in.
Like financial fair play.
He found out, and he told the authorities, and the authorities arrested him, and then UEFA and FIFA investigated into Man City, found out that they had been doing wrong things, and then didn't punish them. But this other guy, he's still in jail.
Well, all right, that guy, he deserves to go in jail, even though that's what you do by being a hero, all right? You got to sacrifice if you're a hero. Sometimes.
Whistleblower status.
Not if you're out. He's not a whistleblower. You got to work for the company or be within the company to be a whistleblower.
I don't know.
That's not how whistleblowers work.
I don't know.
Then outside of that, I'd look at this almost in the same circumstances if you have a cop that pulls you over because of a busted taillight, and then he finds weed in the car, but he had no probable cause to search the shit. Usually you throw everything out, right? But I think what it sounds like UEFA's doing is saying, hey, it's fucked up how we got here. You still fucked up, but it's not. We would have never found out about this if it wasn't for the guy doing the wrong thing that got us to this point. So we're going to punish you, and just know you're lucky as hell that you got off, because of this, because of the way that we found out the information. I just look at it in the same sense of like, usually if you had a cop that pull somebody over and they didn't either read the Miranda rights or they didn't have the proper cause to do the search, and usually you throw the entire thing out. They're like, we ain't throw it out. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, the legalese is it is fruit of the poisonous tree.
I love that. I hear it
Yeah,
in Law and Order all the time.
that's actually what it's called. If you get evidence through unlawful means, it is fruit from the poisonous tree.
Which would run a scenario, right? If I'm driving around and they pull me over because of a busted tail light, and then they say that we searched the car. They didn't give me any warning. They just searched the car. They didn't have any right to. And they find a gun. They run the gun. They found out I murdered 2 people with the gun. Now, usually from what I understand as far from a legal standpoint, because they got the gun through those means, the gun can't be used as far as evidence to convict me of the murder. They'd have to find something else to tie me to the murder.
Yeah, they could bring the gun in another way. For example, they found bullets, and then they got the gun, and now the bullets match the gun. Now they can bring the gun in.
Right. So there's got to be a certain way that they're doing it. I think what UEFA is saying is like, look, after we did more digging based on this thing that wasn't lawfully done, we found dirt, but we would have never found it. So it's got to be one of those things where they even have to look on themselves and be like, all right, well, it's fucked up that we missed this too. Because I'm sure they're supposed to have some sort of.
How that happened.
But is it an honesty code?
No, listen to what I'm saying. UEFA looked at it and said, okay, you guys did this, 2-year ban. Man City appealed to CAS, right?
Mm-hmm.
CAS said, like, they did do it, but it's not, like, that bad. So it's only a $2 million fine, $2 or $3 million fine. But
and
just
now they're saying that they may never release the reasons for overturning it.
See, that's bullshit.
I actually don't think so. I'm with them on this.
No, that's bullshit. And then also, if you look at it, they also had to. I think they had to report the same numbers to the Premier League in itself.
Yeah, the Premier League could.
So they lied to 2 separate organizations, and I haven't heard anything from the Prem about this.
So, and some of this, from what I'm reading, were outside the statute of limitations. Some of the alleged offenses, so they wouldn't have been able to move forward on them anyway. My guess is that UEFA instituted the ban before doing a full investigation, and once they finished, they realized that even though they had done stuff that was wrong, it was so long ago that they wouldn't be.
No, I think UEFA went through with it, and then once they appealed to CAS, that's when it got changed.
I mean, maybe. I mean, I hope
arbitration of sport.
I hope they release these documents.
They're probably not.
Switzerland's usually pretty good about letting us know what's going on.
All right, transitioning from one.
I like the Swiss.
Did I hold my own in that soccer talk just now?
You did.
You killed it.
I mean,
also, fuck Man City. You're not going to the finals. That's all I'm saying.
Liverpool for life, yeah.
Switching from one organization that's pretty shady to another, in my opinion. No, we already talked about the Skins. We're going to transition to Madrid being crowned champions as of last week. Yeah. I mean, they were the better team since the restart, so I'll say that. But I would be lying to myself if I didn't make mention of how they got a penalty every game. And if you look at the penalties, they're very questionable. And the one that really pissed me off this when they won the league, right? They got a penalty, which was like a soft penalty. Ramos did he tried to do what Messi and Suarez did, where he laid it off that Cruyff started. But Benzema was he was offsides or whatever. Like, he's already in the penalty box. And then they let him, so they said, no. And then they let him retake it. I don't know why they let him retake it if he was already off. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, so you have to, I think.
And the keeper was on the line.
Right, I think that's the rule, is if there's any infraction during the taking of the penalty is basically null and void, and there's a re-kick.
Re-kick as in, they get to kick it again?
Yeah, because even if he had made it, which I think he did,
yeah,
but they're saying the
So
infraction was before the kick, was before the goal, so you get to retake the penalty.
The infraction was before the kick, so they
Yeah.
can do it again. That doesn't make sense.
That's the rule.
So if I go offsides, right, like during the penalty, and I'm in the box, and then they save it, but I was offsides, then we get to retake it. That doesn't make sense.
Hold on.
I thought I swore during the game the announcers were saying well, if he was offsides, then it should be I think it was Villarreal. That might have been the team. It should have been their free kick.
Yeah, I'm looking at
Yeah,
it.
talk about soccer rules is something I'm very well versed in. I'm gonna let you guys do your own research here on this one.
No, I mean, Madrid was a better team. Barcelona folded,
Yeah.
of course, but a lot of shit has just been questionable, and I'm not the only person saying it. Like, if you look, every win that they've had since the restart, people were saying this was a little weird, this is a little soft, and then you got players in the league coming out saying hey, Madrid gets all these soft penalties are favored for some teams more than most. And each team is saying that after they play Madrid, when they get a penalty towards the end of the game.
Sounds like they're playing the Raiders every time.
Okay. The player taking the penalty kick or a teammate infringes the laws of the game. If the ball enters the goal, the kick is retaken. It's like the top rule.
Okay. All right. That makes sense then.
Yeah.
All right. I just remember seeing all the players,
So,
the other
if the ball
team
does not enter the goal, the referee will stop and restart with an indirect free kick.
Okay. That makes sense.
Can
All
we clear
right.
that up?
Yeah.
I mean, but I know what you're saying, but when Ronaldo was there, dude, he would get a penalty every single fucking game as well. So
Yeah, but the penalties that he gets are different compared to the ones that I've been seeing from Madrid since the restart.
it's just Benzema and Ramos getting
Yeah,
over.
And then what was it?
I mean, you guys are not playing very good soccer.
Not at all.
So,
we are playing terrible.
Yeah,
The coaches are making stupid decisions. We're not going to beat Napoli.
The end was going to be the same, regardless of whether they had gotten those penalties. But
no, it wasn't. We were leading. If we didn't lose the way Madrid hasn't lost.
I mean, they've just been playing well.
Yeah, they've been playing well. They've gotten penalties, and we've been terrible.
You guys are going to have trouble in Champions League.
We're not beating Napoli.
We are trying to get a Europa spot by winning the FA Cup. So we don't really have we don't have a lot of breadth here, but yeah, it's going to be I mean, for all we know, those teams could go into international play and just fucking suck because they're not used to playing in fucking
But Cynthia's not going.
Who?
Cynthia's going to be out before. He doesn't even know if he's going to coach the team.
Yeah, I saw that article. He's like, I don't know if I'm still going to be here.
Yeah, and then his assistant coach is apparently a dickhead to everybody, and it's all right. How bad does the board want this team to go?
I mean, I don't know what they're doing. They're just
nobody does. I don't think they do. You remember they called it the Game of Thrones.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they want Messi out. For some reason,
that would be the dumbest shit I've ever heard.
I hear you, but it seems like if they keep doing what they're doing, it looks like they're trying to push him out. I don't know, for contract reasons, maybe money reasons. I don't know. Doesn't make any sense.
They wouldn't get any player better.
No.
Stupid.
But maybe they have maybe they just have beef with each other, and it's just not worth the continuing.
I mean, the players have beef with the board since they screwed over Dani Alves.
It could be like a Jordan in '96 kind of.
Yeah, I think that's how I look at it. They're treating Messi the way they treated Jordan.
Yeah, best player in the world.
And I mean, there's no reason. Dani Alves was the best right back in the game, arguably at the time, and they shitted on him. It's
it might have been that old guard group.
Danny he wasn't that old.
No, I meant the winning group, the Unstoppables from 2008 to 2012. Sergio Busquets,
Xavi, Iniesta,
Xavi, Iniesta, yeah.
Dia, yeah,
His
Pedro.
last name Biscuits?
Nah, Busquets. But
Busquets.
everybody calls him
Busquets.
Biscuits.
Biscuits.
That's a good name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Eat biscuits in my David Villa.
Hey, Kadeem, if you ever want to like understand the game, like just watch Biscuits play.
Biscuits is so good.
Yeah,
He's
just
everywhere.
watch him.
He's everywhere all the time.
I'm really hungry now.
Oh,
I
nice.
am too. I got a free Popeye sandwich, so I'm gonna go get.
Nice.
I
Somebody
heard they're
gifted-
reworking the recipe for that.
Somebody gifted me one on Postmates, and I have no idea who it was.
The quality has fallen completely off on the Popeye chicken sandwich, and what they need to do is go back to the drawing board and actually bread the chicken with the same spicy coating they do on the spicy chicken instead of that spicy, stupid fucking sauce. And if they did that, it'd be a much better product.
All right. Speaking of quality falling off, we're going to talk about Ferrari right now.
Vroom,
Did
vroom.
anybody watch the Formula One race this morning?
No.
I
Okay.
watched, as I always do, because it's so goddamn early. I just watched the highlights.
All right, fine. The shit started at 9. But
Yeah, I mean, I had to wake up this morning at 5, so
fair enough. Lewis won again.
saw that.
Yeah, love it. Ferrari started off. The first two were the Mercedes, then the next two were
Red Bull.
No, the next two were Force India.
Oh, okay.
Or I think they changed the name. It wasn't Force. They're not Force India.
Bad name.
anymore, but
Right.
yeah, there was some whole shit with,
Racing
with like
Point?
the owner and everything, so they had to change the name.
Is that
Racing Point.
Racing Point now.
Yeah, Racing Point. So
Still a
Racing
bad
Point
name.
got the second two. You know why they got the second two? Apparently, like they quote unquote copied Mercedes car from last year. So now they're killing shit.
I mean, if
And-
you see something working, you copy it. Like that's
But
just
that shit is funny.
that's just how it goes.
And
And
then I
Mercedes is the
think,
highest form of flattery.
Yeah.
yeah. Then I think after that it might have been Red Bull, and then after that was Ferrari or vice versa. Which is crazy for Ferrari to be so far behind in comparison to everybody else. And the race started. Bottas had a terrible start, and then he ended up dropping from second to like 6th in like the first turn. And then Lewis, he had like clear skies ahead of him the whole race.
Yeah, he ran away with it.
Yeah,
It wasn't
at one point he was like 20 seconds ahead of everybody. Just
20
chilling.
seconds? Jesus.
Yeah, he lapped. Bottas and Hamilton both lapped Ferrari.
The whole team?
Yeah.
Both Mercedes lapped Ferrari.
Yeah,
Like that's nuts.
they came in what, 7? 8?
No, I think Leclerc came in. I forgot what.
Yeah,
What-
they were not
Yeah, they
were not
weren't. They weren't good at all.
yeah, they were awful.
I feel like they screwed up Leclerc on the fact that they gave him soft tires, so they had him run on soft tires in the beginning. It was raining, but yeah,
it stopped pretty soon after the race.
yeah, but they didn't know,
Oh.
and then there was a threat of it coming back.
Oh. Well, Kyle, I don't know if you guys watch NASCAR. I only watched it because I watched part of it because I heard what had happened. Kyle Busch won, and then they DQ'd him because his car was like a quarter inch higher than regulation.
Oh.
Yeah. Big, man.
Yeah, gotta get past that inspection after post-race
Yeah.
inspection.
How between the start of the race and the end of the race does that happen? Like, I don't. What did they adjust it mid race
Yeah,
and
air
like their-
suspension.
Yeah,
suspension.
yeah, but like, why wouldn't you just air it back down after the end of the race?
Oh no, you don't get access to the car after the race. Especially if you win. It stays right there when it's over with all those cameras on you.
No,
Really?
I'm saying like you just push a button and it goes right back to where it's supposed to be.
They discover a button that could just shows me.
It's like a secret button.
It's not that hard to lower up the suspension, whether it be a pitch stop or if they just miss something on the pre, which happens a lot.
I mean, yeah, that's my only thought is that it was off when they started, and then when they wheeled it in at the end,
They just missed it.
they just missed it.
Yeah.
So
So that makes sense.
2 weeks ago, I was telling everybody to watch out for Bryson DeChambeau in golf. So this man is hitting the ball so far that other players are complaining about it. He hit the ball 430 yards off the tee.
Jesus.
Hold up, they're complaining?
Other players are like, wait, he can't be hitting that far. And Brooks Koepka was like, this man has been working his ass off to be able to do this.
Yeah.
He hit it 423 yards. That put him 6 feet from the hole. 6 feet. I told you to watch out for this kid. He put on 40 pounds of muscle, and he is crushing the ball. He said he wants to his new phrase is, when
I'm
you go
Happy
to the
Gilmore.
casino,
Is that his new phrase?
No, when you go to the casino, they say the house always wins. He says, I'm going to be the house. It's fucking badass. If you guys haven't watched this video, watch it. Because
I'm going to check him
Be
out.
like Tiger.
430 yards. Like,
That's nuts.
340 is long for a PGA
430?
430 yards. Like, absolute mashed it. Oh, it looks so good. And then I played today, and I was like, man, I'm not Bryson DeChambeau. Hitting it like 200.
How far did you hit it?
Huh? I can hit it like 220, maybe.
Okay. So
I
damn,
mean,
you like twice.
He doubles my drives, which, dude.
I can't drive a golf ball. I was on a golf team. I can't hit. Like a driving range, I can't hit a ball.
It's like, I would say it's probably the hardest sport to get very good at.
Did you say something over there? I have headphones on, but if you're talking shit.
Girls just in the back like, you can't play, motherfucker.
I was on the golf team to miss school. It was you got to get out of class early. I go eat hot dogs at Potomac driving range at Age Point.
That's awesome, dude. You know what I would pay right now to spend like 2 to 3 hours a day hitting golf balls?
I can putt like putt or putting. I can putt like a motherfucker.
Random question.
You're just being a dick. You didn't even want to be over here for the soccer thing. You're over there
Wait,
saying soccer.
random question. What team does she support?
Of what?
Soccer.
What's your team in soccer? She doesn't have one. She's thinking too long. What's your team?
The Wolves?
She doesn't have a team. She has a team. She's just not telling you what the team is.
Why?
Well,
Is it Madrid?
She's being difficult for the sake of being difficult right now.
Is it Madrid?
No, I don't know. Here's the thing. If you just start, like, shitting on things, it'll hit a nerve. You'll find out.
All right.
Okay.
Tell them
I
Madrid
just don't
sucks.
know enough. Madrid sucks. She didn't respond.
All right, so it's not Madrid. All right,
No,
cool.
Madrid.
If it's not Madrid, we don't care.
Yeah, that's true. Like,
What'd you say about Barcelona?
Now
She said she prefers just to be the peanut gallery. She can't hear anything anything that's being said and what's coming out of my mouth.
just
The
tell
man-
us the team.
the man-
That should be the team that you support.
But I even hooked up headphones for her to come over if she felt like it.
The Man U Chelsea game is starting, and we must be ending.
Oh, wait. Isn't it like the FA Cup?
This is semis. Yeah, well, we beat Man City in the semis yesterday.
You gave your final thought because that was the Bo wreck, whatever. Mine real quick is that Black Lives still do matter, and fucking the cause is still there. Don't be like James Harden wearing blue line mask and shit because you're not informed. There's no reason to not be informed. We're still, for the most part, things are still shut down. It ain't like you can go to the bars. It ain't like you. Well, no, I've seen a lot of people at the bar. I've seen a lot of people at the beach too. Whatever. What you should be doing is doing your research and doing what you need to do to get informed. And get as informed as you can be before you start speaking, which is what I'm seeing a lot of people do. Don't be a Deshaun Jackson. Don't be Steven Jackson. And don't be James Harden. Wear shit. Yeah, stay home too. Yeah, the virus is still very, very strong. It's doing a lot of shit. Stay the fuck home. Get tested. Don't get into contact with a lot of people. Wear your fucking mask if you got to be out.
All right. My final thought is rest in peace, John Lewis.
Oh, yeah.
Rest in peace, John.
My
Also,
mom knew him. Like, she got, like, a shit ton of pictures with him.
that's awesome. I can't read what you're doing.
And wash your hands. Yep.
Wash your hands. Hey, what's the difference how can you tell the difference between a blood clot in your leg and like a just a cramp?
You probably won't feel a blood clot.
Right.
If I die in the next 48 hours, it's because of the blood clot in my leg.
How about you get it checked out?
Yeah, I probably should.
You won't.
Yeah.
You won't usually feel a blood clot.
Oh, then all right, I'm fine now.
Eat some potassium. You'll find out pretty soon.
Okay.
Yeah, and stretch.
Yeah.
That's what I've been moving in the chair like this. Stretching the chair. My thighs like
Oh,
hurt like a mother.
Oh, it's in your thigh?
Yeah.
Yeah, stretch out your thigh. Like, never mind. Whatever.
Yeah, this is. I've had to stretch out before because I've had a cramp. This don't feel like that. This feels weird.
Maybe
Right.
go see your primary care provider.
Medicaid.
Hey, it works the same.
Damn,
My
it works
homework
amazing.
for you, Kadeem.
What?
My homework for you is next week. Find out where the team is, so we can like talk about them.
We have homework? Fuck that.
Her team?
Yeah,
Okay.
appreciate you.
All right, y'all. Love you all. Talk to you soon.
Peace.
All right.
Peace. Suck farts.